Sandy Munro is going to be here to talk about the ever-growing fleet of electric cars with over 15 new electric models that will be joining Tesla and other existing EV models on the market this year, thus adding great choices for all of us. But can they really compete with the king of all EVs, Tesla? That conversation is coming up next. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of electric car scoop. If you are interested in everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, or you just enjoy my conversations with Sandy that we have at least once per month on this channel, well, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Making great electric cars is not just about making them better than Tesla. It's also about the ability to innovate while actually making profits doing it. Innovation is easier for startups like Rivian, Lucid, Fisker, and so forth, while profits may be easier for bigger guys like Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes, GM, and so forth. So let's find out what Sandy thinks about it. But before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Bosley. Are you losing your hair like me? Well, you don't have to. I just got my hair transplant a couple of weeks ago, though Bosley offers a number of different surgical and non-surgical solutions for you to choose from. Find out about all of them by getting your free information kit and a discount at bosley.com/e, or use the link in the description of this video. And by XPeng Motors, China's leading smart EV automaker that just announced its expansion plan for Europe, and first deliveries have already started. For more information, follow XPeng Motors on Facebook using the link in the description of this video. All right, Sandy, so we are entering 2021, and I think this is going to be one of the more exciting years if you want alternative to Tesla. That alternatives to Tesla, really, there are going to be quite a few, 15 models actually, I counted last time, and they are actually quite good electric vehicles. I mean, you can argue whether they're better or not, but I wanted to talk to you about if, well, let's just start with, are there any new electric cars that are coming on the market or already in the market that you're excited about, that you're looking forward to?
Well, Rivian and the Cybertruck. Those are two that I'm very, very interested in. I want to see how that's coming out, and then I want to see what's going to come out from some of the other bigger guys on the market. I know the IDs that are sitting out there, the 3 and the 4. We'll probably take a look at those as well. But I'm probably going to be a little skeptical on how excited I'm going to get as far as these vehicles, because sometimes I get excited and then I look at it and I go, I'm not excited about that. So let's see what I want to see what I want to see what's going to come into the marketplace. And before I buy anything for teardown or analysis or whatnot, I'm definitely going to be looking for what's going on with that product at the dealership. I'm going to ask them to put it up on the hoist and whatnot. They all know why I'm going to be there. It's not that a guaranteed sale, but they're usually pretty nice because at least they get paid right away.
So let's separate those two, because there's two types of electric vehicles coming on the market. One from the newbies like Rivian you mentioned. There's also Lucid, and there are a few others, and there's legacy manufacturers. So let's talk about the Lucids and Rivians of the world. This is their very first car. This is the very first factory, very much very first, right? And we can argue that Lucid is run by the industry veterans, and Rivian has the advisors from Ford and so forth. But what would be your expectations of how difficult or easy their first 6 to 12 months of production is going to be? Will they have the production hell? What are the challenges? And of course, what are the advantages of being brand new and just starting from scratch while learning the lessons from Tesla?
Right. So both the companies that you mentioned, both have brought people in from from the auto industry that really know how to build a car. So I don't think that they're going to go into the production hell that Tesla wound up in. And they're not going to do things like, have a dreadnought plant, where everything is just nothing but robots. And I don't think that's going to happen. The people are fairly clever at the building of the car. I think their big problem is going to be the acceptance into the marketplace. I think that Rivian will have a much easier time than everybody else because they've been around a little longer and they've done a lot of good things as far as press and whatnot is concerned. And there's just a need for that type of truck in that type of market. So I think that's going to do remarkably well. Other vehicles, regardless whether they're new or from a startup or from the big giant OEMs, I think they're going to have their hands full. There's going to be a lot of people coming into the marketplace. That means that you got to really be sharp as far as your pencil is concerned. I think there's going to be it's going to be a very big challenge for everybody, not because so much of they having to put the cars together, but finding the right niche or the right way of selling their vehicles.
All right, so let's talk about the legacy manufacturers now, because they might just have a tougher road. They might have more money. But you mentioned it almost every video we make when we talk about legacy manufacturers, that not starting from scratch is much harder. Talk a little bit about that. What are the challenges, let's say, GM is going to have with the Hummer EV and Ford might have with the Mustang Mach-E?
Well, you know what? It's not technical challenges that they're going to have. It's psychological challenges. Okay. So that's the big difference. So I say this a lot, and I'll probably bore a few people as well. But at the end of the day, it's not. It has nothing to. The technology is easy. It's 10% of the problem. The psychology is a big deal, and I'm going to go back to what we did a while ago, where we went on out into the marketplace on Munro Live, and we said, hey, we're going to buy, for sure we're buying a Rivian, and for sure we're buying a Cybertruck, and now what we would like to do is, you're the viewers, you're our customers, which would you rather like to see us take apart? Would it be a Rivian or would it be a Hummer? And it came back 97% of the responses we got, and we got a ton of them, and it was 97% in favor of the Rivian. So obviously we're not going to be taking to pieces a Hummer. Now, the big thing is, wow, that's a big number, and you say, well, it makes an easy decision, but the real question is why? And I think it's because people kind of equate anything from GM as big and gas guzzling and polluting and stuff like that. That's the real that's what Ford, GM, Chrysler, Volkswagen, especially Volkswagen, that's what they're going to have to try and overcome. They have to try and overcome this image that they've in the past, really proved to be perfect for them, and now it's not so much fun to be the to say that, oh yeah, we can give you 400 or 500 horsepower, but it's probably going to suck up about 2 gallons per mile or something like that. It's ridiculous numbers. So that's where I think there's going to be the biggest problem for the big OEMs, and the biggest advantage that the startups have got, because they don't have any baggage. There's no baggage with them.
Now, you said technology is easy, which is if it's, so my question then this, and I just want to stay with the legacy manufacturer issues here. If the technology is that easy, and some of them are being forced into this technology, so they don't really get to have an opinion about it, right? Why aren't they there? I mean, even talking about the Hummer EV, it looks like they're gonna release maybe a couple of thousands of them by the end of next year. We're talking about a year, and not even mass produce them probably 1-2 years from then. If technology is that easy, they definitely have committed to billions of dollars to electrify. Why are they so behind?
Mainly because those are decisions that are made at the nosebleed level. These guys are way up the ladder that are making the decisions on how they're going to roll out the product. And it's my opinion or my impression that most of the car companies, the big car companies, are still thinking that the good old days are going to come back. You know, everything's going to be just like it was in 1992 or whatever. I mean, that's kind of what I think is out there. There's some companies like, I mean, okay, so the startups, yeah, they'll have some advantage, but which car companies are going to have the big advantage? I think that the best thing that ever happened to Volkswagen was the diesel disaster. Okay, so they had a bunch of their executives go to jail, and that's another thing. All of the people that I talk to, they say the same things. They say, well, I won't buy a car except for a Tesla because I think all the executives in the auto industry are crooked. Well, that's not true. They're not crooked. They don't eat their children, and they don't breathe fire, and they don't have forked tongues. They make decisions based on the information that they've got, and sometimes you make bad decisions, like what happened with Volkswagen. They couldn't hit the targets. What are we going to do? Well, we can cheat. What do you mean? Well, if we, change the software a little bit, it'll look less like this, and then actually I got that. Well, what'll that do? Well, I mean, at startup, you're going to have a little bit more smoke or something, but after the engine gets going, it'll be fine. Really? Well, everybody cheats in racing, and they do. Everybody cheats in racing. So, what could it hurt? Right? And so for a few years, they send it out there, and they all get big bonuses and pats on the back, and then they get caught. Okay, so they got caught, and now they have the worst image on the planet, but they took the lemons and turned them into lemonade. And what they did was they said, okay, great, we're going to go EV like there's no tomorrow. And they pumped more money into EVs than anybody, including Tesla. They're just going as fast as they can in that direction. And for that reason, like I've shown some slides on your show, I think before, where I don't see anybody making any money except for two companies. One is Tesla, and the other one is Volkswagen. So that's what I think for right now, anyway. And I think that there'll be other companies. By the way, Volkswagen owns Bentley, and Bentley said that it will not produce any, like zero, ICE vehicles after 2025 or 2020 or 2030, maybe something.
Yeah, and this week they also got handed over to Audi, which will definitely help.
Yeah, well, Audi is a easier company to work with, and there's lots of things that we've heard from Audi. Actually, Audi is the one who got me into business with the Tesla teardowns, because they wanted me to buy a car and ship it to, or tear it down and then ship the remains to them in Germany, and it didn't work out, and we wound up with the 3, and here we are. But that was the best disaster that ever happened to me, and so yeah. But I think that Audi is they're going to kick some serious butt as well.
And they are Volkswagen Group brand, their sister company to Volkswagen. All right, now you have stated many times, especially after the battery day on my channel, on your channel, and that Tesla is really, really now far ahead of the competition. I think you mentioned 5+ years in some cases.
10 in some cases.
Yeah. Now I have to say that even I was like, ugh. But on the other hand, I was also thinking that, okay, I will obviously leave the expert opinion to you, but I'm thinking, does it even matter? And I'll tell you why. I know it's a weird question to ask, but at some point when everybody gets to 500 miles on one charge, or whatever that number might be, it doesn't matter that Tesla will be able to produce cars at 2,000 miles a charge because they just won't be necessary. This legacy manufacturers have gone from 100 miles per charge to 200 in a matter of a year or two now, and it looks like now we're talking about 300 plus. Will that advantage that Tesla have with batteries and the range really matter in another 2 or 3 years when everybody else is just going to somehow, slowly but surely, get to that magic number where that's just going to be it?
Well, at the end here, what we're looking at is not just range, but all the other aspects that they've got that the other guys don't quite have yet. And a lot of what when I say it's like 10 years or whatever, what I'm looking at is all of the advantages that they've got with ADAS, automatic driving. I don't see anybody that's got anything quite like that. And Elon Musk actually said in an interview in Berlin, he said something along the lines that they're already at level 5, but they're not telling anybody. They're not going to release the rest of the software. And the reason for that is because it's the lawyers that'll hold it back now. It's not technology, because he thinks he's there already. It's going to be lawyers. It's going to be the bureaucracy, the governments and whatnot. Well, wait a minute, who's going to pay if there's an accident? What happens if this fails? And on and on and on. So I think that that's one of the areas where he's quite a bit further ahead than everybody else. And then you got to look at how is the drivetrain actually put together. Now there's people who I'm sure are out there trying to copy right now as fast as they can, but the problem is they have a different system. Tesla's system is, for the most part, very flexible. They make changes, like I said before, at the speed of thought. They don't waste time with change boards, and they do things quickly, very, very, very quickly. And that's something that the legacy car companies and even some of these other smaller companies are never going to be able to do. They can't do that. It's impossible for them. So I believe, and I truly, strongly believe, that Tesla will still keep their advantage for quite a while. It's going to take something terrible to knock them off their pedestal, or it'll take some sort of a paradigm shift that we're not expecting. So if somebody comes along and says, "Hey, I've got a thing. You throw a couple of old banana peels in it, and you can drive your car for 150 miles." Anything, and it costs $10. That kind of stuff. If there's a big giant paradigm shift, then yes, then Tesla might not, be able to stay where they are, or somebody else might take over for a bit. But it's going to have to be something really, really revolutionary, and I don't see anything like that on the market. Not even with the what do you call them, solid state batteries and stuff. I really think that from a battery standpoint, that's great. The big thing for me isn't the battery capability. For me, it's the fact that I can make it a lot lighter. That's what I'm looking at. If I can make it lighter, that's a good deal. So.
All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about some other Tesla competitors that have not become competitors yet. We're talking about some big giants like Toyota and Honda. They haven't really touched the technology really yet. They haven't really made an all-electric real car. How hard or how easy it's going to be for Toyota and Honda to catch up and produce a decent vehicle that will be able to compete with Teslas? Or do you think that they might have been so behind now that it may put them in danger of either shrinking to tinier companies, or maybe even going out of business?
That is not going to happen. I don't believe you're going to see Toyota, Honda, or Hyundai go out of business tomorrow because they aren't as big into electric cars as VW is.
Well, I do have to say that Hyundai, I did not mention it because they have actually done Ioniq. Yeah. They have done, Kona. Right. There's now, so I think they're definitely in the mix. But Toyota and Honda have really been behind. Do you think it will be hard or easy for them to just catch up?
I think that they'll have a relatively easier time than than say the Europeans or the American car companies. They move a lot faster, and that's because of the management. Again, every time you look at how companies are run, you can. So I don't know how to put this. I've studied a lot of different systems for running corporations. I was in at Ford. I know how they work or used to work. I was working with the top of the house at General Motors for a while, BMW, Mercedes, Chrysler, whatever. I kind of understand how they operate at the top of the house, and when it comes to quick decision making and changing the course of action to what was maybe not working out so well for them to something that's, you know, gonna keep them in at the top of their house or the top of their industry, the Japanese are very difficult to beat. They do a good job. Now, why aren't they into EVs? Because they bet on hydrogen. So Tesla, as you know, just brought out a new Mach-E, and so if there's a OEM out there that wants to know about, you know, the Mach-E and the fuel cell that's inside of it, I'll tell you right now, I would love to get into it. We've been working with fuel cells for 25, about 25 or so years. We kind of know everybody's fuel cells on the market, and I can tell you that 0.8 volts per cell is about what you can get, but Toyota's getting 1.3 volts per cell. And they're bringing out their new product. They've had their release already in the United States. Hydrogen, to me, is a big deal. So I think that I'm positive that Toyota and Honda both worked on that, and I believe that they're going to surprise everybody first with with whatever they bring out as far as an electric vehicle, but then they're going to have something that nobody else has got. They're going to have the hydrogen vehicles, and I think that's ultimately the right way to go. I don't want to carry a battery.
Do you really think that the hydrogen fuel cell technology has any life on the mass production passenger car market?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Really?
It's the easiest thing. Well, you know, if you want clean energy and you can figure out how to make hydrogen or crack hydrogen in a cheap way, yeah, it's the best thing. I mean, it's the most plentiful element in the universe.
But there is no infrastructure really right now, and they've been trying. I mean, they haven't built, and another disadvantage is you can't do it at home. You kind of have to go back to stations, the refueling stations. So how would this ever work? I always consider this a dead on arrival technology.
No.
No?
I think ultimately you're gonna see. I think what it's going to be is the first places that I think that this would make a lot of sense for fuel cells would be like the Mach-E in electric car, but the other place that I believe it's got legs is the VTOLs. Now I'm going to get into some sticky stuff here, but I think that
Sandy, how about this? We're gonna make a whole different video about this because I have so many questions about it. Like, you just shocked the hell out of me. So I'm gonna wipe myself off the floor, and I'm gonna get ready for the next time when we talk. I think that's the topic. But let me ask you. I just kind of want to wheel back in onto because I still wanted to ask you about, you know, what about the Chinese automakers? You know, they are making pretty damn good cars in China. There's NIO, there's XPeng and BYD. XPeng Motors is just about to start, and full disclosure, they're one of the sponsors, but they're just about to just deliver their first vehicles in Europe. Right. Do you think that they are also will be able to make their ways to the European and American market, and do you think it will be successvel?
Absolutely.
They're up to par. You think they can make cars where people won't be like, oh no, this is Chinese, you know?
No, I've been in plenty of Chinese vehicles, and like I said last year, If things wouldn't have gone the way they did, I'd have probably spent six months in China, for sure. That's a fact. I saw lots of things that I was really blown away at. And you know, they make a few batteries over there, and most of the rare earth materials that we need are made over there, and a lot of the cells that we're using right now are made over there. So yeah, I think the Chinese are going to come in, and it'll be just like, I mean, this is going to be a repeat of when the Japanese started bringing cars into the U.S. Oh, well, we don't have to worry too much about them because after all, they're just an emerging market and they really don't know the American market and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of fat old guys with big giant cigars that run these big companies, they're going to get the surprise of their life because NIO's going to come over and it's going to be, I don't know about everybody, but I know BYD, I know BAIC, I know Geely, I know a lot of the car companies over there, and they didn't sit on their hands, and they make a damn good car, and they will come over here, and they're going to be initially taken for granted, and then they're going to get the surprise of their lives when these things start to sell.
Wow, so we just came up with a second topic for another video because that is a whole new can of worms that you opened.
Oh no, all right, another can of worms.
Okay,
that's two cans in one episode.
I know. I'm gonna have to take some therapy after this. But okay, so one last question. You know, if you had to make a call on one model, one electric model next year, whether it's already in the market or coming up, which one do you think will be the most successful? And by that, I mean most accepted by the masses. Obviously, ID4 is in the mix, Mustang Mach-E, but there's more expensive ones, you know, Audi, e-tron GT, and Lucid Air, and so forth. If you have to gamble on one, which one do you think will have a breakthrough year in 2021?
Rivian.
You're going with Rivian. It's your pony. Yep. All right. All right. I actually don't necessarily disagree. If I would,
so what's yours? Which
the one I'm a reservation holder of is actually, I think because of the pricing and what you get for it, yeah, ID4 will be much more successful for the masses, because don't forget Rivian will, because of pricing and the fact that they're going to start slow with manufacturing, it will be harder to get mass audience. But the ID4, it's such an easy sell, if you ask me. And I haven't bought a new electric car in a while, and I'm a reservation holder, and it looks like I might just get it in the next few weeks. So I'm going to gamble on the ID4, but I don't think Rivian is a bad gamble either.
Well, at the end of the day, when you said which one do you I think is going to be the big winner, I think that Rivian will ultimately be the big winner because it's going to steal from the truck market, which is the biggest market in the United States, pickup truck market, which is the biggest market in the U.S. Now, I was sitting here though. What was my second choice? That's the ID.
I mean, any choice is your second choice. I mean, Mustang Mach-E, ID4, Lucid.
No, that's not. That's way down the line. And so is Lucid, and so is a bunch of others. But the ID4 would be if I'm looking at who's going to sell the most cars, yeah, that'd probably be it. But which one is going to get the attention of the buying public, and who's going to start, you know, putting quarters in their piggy bank so they can get one, I think that's going to be Rivian.
Then no argument there. Sandy will be back for another conversation on this channel next month, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that. But also, don't forget to subscribe to his channel because he's just about to tear down another Model 3, so don't miss that. I put a link to his channel in the description of this video. And if you are wondering what to watch next, why not find out about all of the exciting electric cars that are coming on the market this year? Some of them are already here. I put together a video for you guys to check out. I put the link to that video also in the description of this video. All right, looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.